look at the fire, and he had me put in the vents for, you know, just all the smoke that they would produce from the cigars would just go up into the ceiling. It is comfortable.
It's very relaxing. It's very, very comfortable indeed. One of the most interesting features, I think, of this whole house is the fact that it was once the workshop of John Nichol. Now, John Nichol was born in Ireland in 1784, and when he was 17 years of age, he emigrated to America. This was in 1801, and gradually he apprenticed himself to a clockmaker, and eventually he became the foremost clockmaker here in Belvedere, New Jersey. And we're very lucky we have in this house one of John Nichol's own tall case clocks. And Jason, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the clock.
It's a very beautiful clock. It's old. This one is from a couple that has had this in their house for a couple generations from John Nichols when he built it here in Belvedere. The owner of this building was able to acquire it from them, and they were just so enamored by the idea that here this clockmaker may have had the house built, and just to have one of his clocks in the building itself was just really exciting for them. And you know, when we were designing just to look around the fireplace and what we were going to do with this alcove, it was neat to see it come together as a place for the clock to rest. And then once up at the top, you can see again the broken arch with the finial in the center, just kind of staying consistent with the front door theme. And
yeah, it echoes the front door.
It does.
We're here at the back door, and perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the surround of the back door.
This was fun to build. The owner of the building liked like one of the other surrounds that's locally around. There's another couple buildings in the town with brick that's of similar color and size and age, and there was a surround. This is kind of like a miniature version of it, but they really liked it, and they wanted one put on the back of this house. We did it in cedar. It's really nice to see the wide jambs coming across 18 inches of brick there, and we stayed with the flutes from out front to go with the kind of the look on the sides there. The standing seam roof is a nice touch. It's copper, and copper lasts like forever. It goes really well with the copper gutters. The handmade lanterns are copper, and you know, when the chimneys are final, the soldering and the flashing work up on the very top and the chimney caps are going to be copper themselves. It's just kind of like you know, that extra little effort of.
Yeah. And Jason, is it not true that over time the copper will develop a kind of a green patina?
Yeah, in about 1 year's time it turns chocolate brown, and then over the next maybe 15 years it really starts to turn green, and then it just stays at that. Once it's green, it stays there.
That'll be a very nice old-timey look.
Yeah, it will.
As we've seen in the back of the house, a lot of this handmade brick was very soft and crumbly, and in some cases it simply had to be cut out and removed. So what the builder had to do was to try and find a close as possible replica to the original brick. But if you look carefully, you can see, like, this is original brick, but this is the replica brick, which is, it's quite clear the difference. You can also see down here, original brick, replica, original brick, replica. It's very nice, and it works. Now, some of the replicas are even more convincing. If we step over to the other side, we can see some of the replica brick that is more convincing. Maybe, Jason, you can help me out here. Some of these are actual replicas, but they resemble the old brick more. Which ones?
Yeah, like some of the, if you look at some of these bricks, the way they were fired the same. So I believe that 200 years ago, this brick actually looked like this. It's just the time and the weathering that makes it look like this, and it's something that's so hard to reproduce.
Yeah.
You know, but when you get something that's fired traditionally like these bricks were, cracks develop, and that does help with the.
So this is actually one of the newer bricks.
That is a newer brick. Right?
Even though it looks very old.
Yep.
So that's pretty convincing. And perhaps in time, as these weather, they'll fit in with the others more.
Exactly.
Now, another problem you had, as I recall, was this whole thing was covered with ivy, and the ivy is very difficult to remove. And if we look carefully, we might even be able to see little fragments of ivy. Here, this is, and this is even after acid wash, I understand.
Yeah, this is after grinding, removing the mortar, remortaring, and then acid washing. Still these little fragments of ivy, these tenacious little gripping piece of plant. Not really good for the mortar over the life of a house.
So if you were advising a homeowner and the homeowner had ivy on his walls, what would you say?
If they really love it, I would say let it go, because it keep us masons in a job.
Good advice. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you learned a little something about the expensive art and craft of historic preservation. As Bruce Cameron said, it's rare to find a client who has the interest in preserving old houses, and rarer still to find one with the